Hello and welcome to the first edition of On the Ledge. We are here in the pad, creative space out in Dagenham. We are a community and a collective and an art space. We run all sorts of events, and today we are doing our first set of On the Ledge interviews. And our interviewee is a man called Jah-Mir Early. He was here last event for Poetry at the Pad. We had him down for a feature set. He came down, did a few pieces and spoke about a lot of what he wrote, and we've invited him back for a longer interview so we can really get into the meat of what we're chatting about here. So, Jah-Mir Early, would you like to come up to the ledge? Did you want a hand? Yep.
So
Come on. So dangerous.
So dangerous.
Has he made it?
Oh.
When we had you down on Thursday for Poetry at the Pad, you did a couple of pieces which really caught my ear specifically, and I know in the interview afterwards I asked you about it, but I want to get further into it. And there was one question I asked you about the intersection of a couple of different identities. So there was racial identity, and there was kind of what blackness means in reference to that, and then there was also cultural identity and how those things are slightly different, but actually intertwine in like quite intricate ways depending on how you self-define.
Like if you pair people down, an individual down, like you get your whole community, you can talk about race, nationality, and those things affect each other and your belief system, so that you pair it all down past the roles that I play. But what is the nature of the thing that fills that space? The matter inside me says, woman of a certain age, struggling down the street carrying groceries, regardless of the mood that I'm in, I will offer, though I don't want to, if you need a hand. And if you do, I will walk the 4 or 5 blocks, hopefully just that, to drop off your stuff. And I will not moan about it while it's being done, because that's not the thing you do, and you're supposed to help people, regardless of who that is. And you do that for that old lady. It's not right because my parents told me it was right, and I don't remember any time that my parents put me on the shoulder and pointed to something, or the television said, hey, regardless of race, gender, just age, if you see somebody struggling, help them.
It's hard to define that
Yeah,
when you're a kid and you've not even started to understand the other brackets of frames of references you can put yourself into.
It's the greatest context is your understanding of yourself. That expands or contracts racial identity. What others can hang upon it. Your reactions, either culturally preconceived or within the small social network you have, we're all going to react this way, is no longer determinant of you, because some of what you are, you are, is all defining of what it means to be whatever race you are. So some of what I am, is all defining of what it means to be black. And then you add on to that eternity, yours, which is another eternity of possibilities, ideas, and feelings. And then there are whole communities that even structured, somewhat limited. And then we have what we perceive or could perceive in our limitations as only black. But then there are seeds and elements and reflections within other cultures that exist. So really, once you understand who you are,
the kernel of this,
in the kernel of
right
this,
in the heart of this,
you understand who you are and contextualize who your people are.
Contextualize in reference of blackness, in reference of the family, in reference of any other groups you decide to...
Your motivations.
I understand that. I
Because
think that's well explained as well. I think that's a really nice way of putting it and framing it.
Thank you. When I was a kid, my parents sent me to it. They thought it would help me. Just before I got to college, make me a little bit more independent. It's a thing called Outward Bound, and you go hiking in the woods.
So like summer camp kind of deal?
No, it was, I would have loved me some summer camp. Like, ooh, you want to go water skiing? I mean, I wouldn't have gone water skiing. I would have crapped out just before I had to get on the ski part, but I would have been excited about the idea,
But
right?
instead you were hiking.
Yeah, but instead we were hiking, and that's all you did. You like hiked all day,
Wow.
set up a camp, hiked all day, set up a camp. Kids took turns with the maps trying to get us there, teach us leadership. But like one of the undercurrents of it is that I think it was, and I may have this all wrong by memory, but one of the undercurrents was I think it was during the Second World War. They realized that the dudes in the submarines, the younger dudes were suffering and sparking out while the older guys were handling it a little better. And it's because they had been through the First World War and they had gone with scarcity and without, So a hard time to them was pretty much a time
Yeah.
rather than, we have to drink powdered milk, and the meat's rancid, and I'm not getting any sleep. I mean, we see on a daily basis where people, I used to work bars in, around the city and in Old Street and stuff like that, and see people cry because they couldn't get their carver, or because you had the audacity to say, I'm sorry, your tab's now at like 200 quid. The manager has made me come over here.
And tell you.
The brave manager who gets paid an actual salary has come over here for me, who's on an hourly wage, to tell you need to come up off 200 quid. And you're irate because you don't feel trusted. So, like, a healthy sense of self-denial is, I can do without. That allows you to do things like give charity. Charity, if it doesn't cost you, is just whatever. But everything costs you. So you are giving up of your time, of your energy, of your wealth. You're not necessarily supposed to feel good about that. You don't have to feel good about that. But one of the things it does for you is if meteor hits Earth, zombies rise from it, girlfriend leaves you, promotion doesn't happen, poet on stage, everybody's clapping for somebody else, you don't unbalance your whole. You don't lose who you actually are. You don't damage that.
So Jah-Mir, hit us with one more. We'll round off, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. What are you going to bring?
I'm going to ask at some point in the future for a clip of this, and this is part of the poem. It is an improv poem built on a poem that I read once to a guy, well, not to a guy, to a room full of people, when I felt that the only thing I understood about myself is that you didn't understand. And it actually made us friends. It actually made him, he was like, I just thought you were this jumpy, funny, life is great kind of guy, and then I saw you read this poem, and I thought, wow, that's a motherfucker. And I was like, he actually said that. That's a motherfucker. And I was like, oh, why can't we just call me smart? Does it have to be about people's mothers? No, that's not that funny, but this is the poem. This is for us and not them. This is for us that stand on the outside, warm in the cold, our faces pressed against the glass of your realities. This is for us and not them. Those that who's the theys, those who are the we's that aren't us. This is for us and not them. Those who set their fire so far back from the main fire, we are just a twinkle, maybe even a glance, a side thought of maybe what could be out there in the dark. Us gathered together slowly, listening to each other's heartbeats, making suns, making stars off of planets that they have denied to us. This is for us and not them. Those who own the spaces that are not material, because everything that is material has been stripped away from us, will be stripped away from us, will be used against us, will be branded and then be given to us so that we can brand ourselves. This is for us and not them. The world, the breathing world, the seas, off of these small, small pieces of land that call themselves mountains that are drowned in us. This is for us and not them. This is for the us that is me, meaning you, meaning I, meaning we, who is us and not them. This is for us and not them, the builders, the makers, the believers, the lost and the losing. Those whose bodies point the way towards this was a bad idea, or those whose bodies point the way towards a little further with a little more hope or a little more help, I might have made it. This is for us, the strugglers in the dark, the breathers in the night, those who drag the sun across the constellations and deliver it to them. This is for the strange, the freaky, those sensing reflections but not seeing them, knowing somewhere out there in the darkness your song has a call. This is for us and not them. Them who are those who are the they who are always speaking, always judging, always ruling, always writing, always stealing from us. This is from us. With our broken bodies and the chunks bit out of us that they took to make themselves feel good, to make themselves feel transformed, to shine up the turd of our lives and call it their culture. This is for us and not them, for our secret rhythms beat out on our hands or spit from our mouths somewhere in the shadows are the nature of the connections of the rhythms of their lives. For where does their wood come from? Where do their stories about fire, where are they brewed? Where do the colors of their eyes, where do the they come from? They come from the us that is lost. The us that do not realize you are floating in an endless universe. You a star growing brighter. The further you go, the more you make. And somewhere set off at a balance from your others, you make a universe. They have given up. They have said the universe must be returned to a nutshell. All hope must not be expansive but self-directed. You could be if you will fall for me, and these great lies were built. Like magnetics, they draw them in, and we are the us. The wrong magnet repulsed by the erasure of truth, by the misrepresentation of self. I am not a puzzle piece, I am a drop of water, and you who are us are an ocean. We are an ocean. We are not puzzle pieces. We are not forced to fit or tossed away. We are constant, of the same makeup, of the same flavor, just distant and different in form. This is for us, the stars, the drops of water, the breathers, the believers, those people who stand out all the way on the edge of your future and your hopes. This is for us and not them. The they who are never you, and you who can always be we.
Jah-Mir Early.
Yes.
Absolute pleasure having you here. If you're ever in East London, check out Spoken and a slam called Spout. That's at the Verge Bar in Brick Lane and Love's Company in Old Street.
You can find us on Facebook under Spoken in London. My name is Jah-Mir Early. It has been a pleasure. I hope I haven't rambled incoherently.
Nah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. My name is the Repeat Beat Poet. We are here at the Pad. This is On the Ledge. Thank you for watching.
Be well.